Welcome back to Just Carve Rob. And what are we carving today? Well, we have the bottom half of that block that we carved our gnome out of. It is about 2 by 2 by 4 inches pine. And we're going to carve a wizard, I think. So that's the good thing about putting that center line in, is you can keep your sides equal.
Okay, you can see we moved our front line of our hat up about a half of an inch. And then we just drew it back down to our 2-inch mark. So that's giving it about ½ inch of decline there. And I'm just going to go around, not with this knife, 2-inch knife. Putting it base on the top of the table here. Move our mat back out towards us. I can't believe how much of a big difference there is between this OCC blade and this beaver craft blade. The thickness is almost double on the beaver craft, so it doesn't want to make those cuts like that, and plunge cuts, stop cuts. Doesn't want to make them that good. And we're going to be rounding this hat off more. So this is basically just going to rough in where those lines are going to be. So, don't sweat the little stuff. We're way in the beginning stages yet. Way in the beginning stages. So this is only going to make it give us a landmark of where the hat's going to be. See, we're just going to chop that right off there, just like that. Up to get our point going a little bit better and make this hat a little bit rounder. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. All right, so we're going to keep rounding this hat. We're going to make it a smaller hat. But that's where our, we're just going to put this in here.
All right, the dreaded voiceover. I was listening to the radio, so I have to do the dreaded voiceover. So we're cutting in that part there where the nose and the eyes are going to be. The nose and the eyes. Using the JCR upswept knife. Carve it in a little bit. Do a little drawing. We want to get the hat rounded up. Like it's going over the nose. So you can see the eyes. All that good jazz like that. I should probably just stop doing voiceovers and just let it film in silence. Let's say hi to Jordy Johnson over at Carving Fusion. And Ben over at Studio on the Lake. Ben's having a whale challenge. Spirit whale challenge. We're waiting to get some instructions from Ben on if there's any rules or the date it needs to be in by and all that good stuff. So go over and harass Ben at Studio on the Lake. All right, so you can see that part I cut that looks like a nose there. I cut it back. I want to get that up underneath that hat a little bit because I want to push the hat back. The more you push your hat and face back and your shoulders, the more your hands can stick out when you get to them to carve them in. So he's you want your, well, I do anyway. I try pushing the head and the hat back because the more you push them back, the further you can make your arms and hands stick out if you're going to have arms and hands. If you're not, and you just want to put him in his pocket or lay him on his belly, you don't really have to worry about it as much. Okay, so now I'm marking in the spot where the hands are going to be. Where we're going to put his hands. You see those two lines? They come over about 3/8 of an inch on both sides. And I'm just kind of marking them in. We'll be taking all that away. But, so I don't lose my pencil lines. I'm just marking them with the knife. Now I'm marking the beard in. There again, this is just the rough thing, a rough layout, so that we know not to take that wood away. We're going to leave that there. We're going to leave some real estate there for the beard. So that's why we're doing that. Okay. Okay, so I've been watching this carver. I think he's from China. I don't know how to say his name. I think it's Dido. Dido. He did these. He did a wizard, and this is my interpretation of how he put his eyes in. We're gonna give this guy some buggy eyeballs. So go over and check out his channel. He comes out with a lot of cool little characters to carve, and so that's where I got this buggy eyeball thing going from. So you see, we cut that like that pyramid, upside down pyramid under the hat, and then we're just gonna carve in and make some buggy eyeballs, like cartoon eyes, but not like Doug Linker cartoon eyes. Guy's got a lot of talent. Say hi to Paul over there at Wood Psych. He just put out a new video on I think it's cottonwood bark wood spear. He started in Nevada. Guy gets around, eh? Sean Brooks over at Pen on Fire, and Dan Carprio, Caripo. Dan Carprio just carved some little baseball guys, and we're just chipping the corners off this guy, make it a little easier on the hands instead of all them sharp points. Using the 2-inch OCC knife. Love my OCC knives. One of these days, I'll get me one of them fancy Helby knives. That is the Beavercraft, their detail knife. I classify it more as a rough out knife because of the thickness of this blade. Woof. Yes, I guess I'm spoiled with the OCC knives because they're such a much thinner blade. This will carve. If you're a beginner and you don't know if you're going to like wood carving or not, for $13 now, remember, it don't come with this handle. I made this handle. I really did not. The handle it comes with is very short, very skinny, or thin. I really didn't care for it. So, but I wanted to give the blade, the steel, a fair shake. Now, I have reground this blade to make it thinner than what it was when it came in. And it's much better, but still does not compare with OCC. In my opinion, in knife selection, as far as, let's say economy knives that cost under $40 a knife, would be Flex Cut, OCC, then Beavercraft. Beavercraft would be a third choice. But that's all I have to compare, guys. I don't have any high dollar or high end carving knives. I don't have a deep holler. Deep holler is the new kid on the block. Seems like everybody's carving with deep holler. And I just don't have one. So I don't have any of them either. But I'm happy with the knives I got. Okay, I'm going to show you grain displacement here. Those little chevrons is showing you the grain direction right there. How it's going up. So you can't carve down because your blade will get underneath that grain and pop it out. And then you can see the grain as a whole different direction over here on this side. Right? So pay attention to your grain direction. It's going to tell you which way it wants to carve. And with pine, of course, you got a wider grain, so it's a little easier to tell. All right? All right. All right, Spike? All right. All right, Claire? All right. Rumple foreskin. Okay, so you see how we're making that little swoop cut there? Swoop, swoop. Making that swoop cut. That's just to bring his butt out and his shoulders out. Kind of give him a waist, I guess. So you can see where it's going. A little swoop cut there. Swoop, swoop. Swoop, swoop. Swoop, swoop. And, of course, we were fighting grain direction here. So remember that. That's why you see me going from the top down and from the bottom up. because it seems like any way I want, if I try swooping the knife, it'll just pop that wood out. And it is pine. And pine is a very soft wood, so it don't take much to pop or loose. Okay, we got the micromotor with a coarse cut-saw silver sphere or ball. And I want the cloak to kind of flow over his shoes, so that's what we're doing there. And we're just going to whittle out the middle a little bit with it. And you can see we're leaving that real estate for those arms popped out there. And we're rounding it over. Get that all rounded in. You may hear a second voice somewhere in this video. I think it's one of them gremlins running around the shop trying to copy me. So you might want to keep an ear open for him. All right. Say hi to Bap over in Ireland. Bap's carving some wicked owls over there. So I Can Carve. Go check out Bap at I Can Carve over in Ireland, Belfast, Ireland. And that's how we're leaving the arms out. We push face back. Now we have the Oz 2 handpiece with a carbide flame burr in there. These little guys are hard to find, these carbide flame burrs. 3/32 shaft. Whenever I can find them, I usually buy one. They're not cheap by far. They're usually like $14 a piece, but I've been using this one going on a year and a half now. Important top tip: slow your machine down so you're not you don't burn them. Now we're putting our autograph on it. Okay, there it is, autograph. Okay, working the eyeballs a little bit more. Undercutting the hat. Now we have our pencil. We're going to draw the hand in. Hand placement. I want to leave the top of the cloak. And now we have in the Master Carver, we have the cut saw gold fine. Because this pine, okay, now we have the Dremel flex shaft with the flex cut saw extreme flame burr. Back to the Oz 2 with the carbide, tiny carbide flame burr, 1/30 or 3/32 shaft. We're doing a little shape in there. With this wide grain and a tiny burr, it likes to grab. So now we are hollowing out the bottom of the sleeve. That would be the bottom of his sleeve on his cloak. Cloak coat thing. You can see we're shaping the hand in a little bit. You can see I left the top of that cloak a little bit thick at the top. And we're cutting the wrist back. Put a little gap, undercutting around the hand to make it look like it's the cape or cloak is over his hand. Doing a little more shaping of the hand there. Trying to get that hit the 3 planes or 4 planes of the hand. You got the back of the hand, the top of the hand where the knuckles and fingers are, and then where your fingers bend is the 4th plane. Okay, so we got the knife. We're just cleaning out a little bit of schmegma, little fuzz, separating the fingers from the inside of the cloak. And we're putting a shadow line in on the arm of the cloak with the Just Carve Rob Upswept knife. I like using this knife because the blade is ground very thin. Now this is a detail knife. You don't want to try hogging off material with this knife because you probably chip it. But to do, detail, that's what I'm doing with it, detail. Digging out them boogers in there. Yep. All right. And now we have that cuts all fine in the micromotor again. Fine taper burr, gold. Works well on pine and soft woods like that. Okay, there's his other hand. I'm just going to pencil in some fingers. One hand, the hand will be holding the wand. That's why you see that hole tilted forward. And the other one will be holding a staff. And that's why you see the, going all the way up and down. I used an 1/8 inch drill bit that I bought at Harbor Freight. It's an 1/8 inch drill bit, but it is 5 inches long. So it allows you to, with a regular drill bit, the chuck on your drill would be hitting the hat. But with the that long drill bit, you only have to have 1/8 clearance, the size of the drill bit, to get past the hat. Aha! See, there's all kinds of tricks and tips in this video, eh? Say hi to our buddy Glenn McKelvey up there in, I think he's in Quebec, Canada. See, we put them little dents in there for the knuckles. Hope you're feeling better, Glenn. Glenn got the long COVID, something bad. He's having a hard time breathing. Okay, so now we're cutting some little creases in his cloak. I really need to start doing some bigger guys, but I'm really not geared for bigger guys because you can see I use all these micro tools. Cutting some fingers in there. Undercutting his beard on his chin. We're going to make this, the name of this video will be The Yelling Wizard, because we're going to make him like he's yelling at somebody. The Yelling Wizard. And now we're just shaping that hand. And there, you can see the wand. Poof! And there's the staff bend. Poof! Okay. So now we are going in and we are cutting his mouth in. And we're going to put some little tiny teeth in there. No, I'm not going to split the teeth. I'm just going to paint them white because they're too doggone tiny. And wide grain pine don't like high detail. So you can see we drilled some eyeballs in, or some pupils in his eyes there. I'm not worried about painting them blue or green or purple or gold or whatever. He just got black eye. Whatever he's seeing, his pupils are dilated up so big that you can't see the color of his eyes. And there goes his teeth. And I did cut a tongue in his mouth with a scribing bird, 1/32 scribing bird that I bought from Mountain Wood Carvers. They're there, not sponsored by them, but they're there. They got, Mountain Wood Carvers got all kinds of great tools if you're interested in burrs. You're not going to get cheap burrs from them, but, well, I guess not bad. It's a little tiny 1/32 by 3/32 shaft that I got there. But they're only high carbon steel, but I think I got it for $2 a piece. Now we're cutting the beard hairs in. This is a Dremel burr. Titanium coated with a cutter on the bottom. And I'm using that for cutting his beard hairs in. Yep. Get them beard hairs cut in. Matt Carves. Go over and check out Matt Carves. He's been doing a lot of little gnome faces and whatnot. Okay, we put the stick back in his hand. Put the wand back in his hand. And you can see the teeth in his mouth. And that's him. And there he is with his eyes painted and all that good stuff. Share, subscribe, and like. Be awesome. Carve something awesome. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.